Wednesday, 7th of February. I went to work today, like I always do. We watched this presentation about the latest company news. Nobody really cared about a thing they said. Like always, we were just waiting that the day would be over soon. After lunch, I went to the toilet on the third floor because that one, the second, was actually out of order. And then I walked by this conference room that is always locked. As long as I can remember, I've never seen its interior. Usually, I never care about things like this. But this time, there were muffled noises coming out of the room. I heard stammering voices filled with fear, even though I didn't understand a single word. When I got back home, I already forgot about it while watching the newest episode of my favorite TV series. Monday, 12th of February. This day definitely started great because my boss gave me a raise. But when I walked to the toilet again, I watched something very disturbing. There was a tall and bulky man coming out of the infamous conference room. He wore a black leather jacket, a huge hat, darkened sunglasses. After he locked the door, he went downstairs. Curious as I am, I decided to follow him. When he reached the ground floor, he left the building and entered a limousine with darkened windows. When the limousine drove away, a feeling of indisposition started to overcome myself. Wednesday, 14th of February. After 2 long nights shaped by nightmares, the shock hit me again today. I met this young, beautiful girl on the 3rd floor. She looked very desperate and filled with fear, and her clothes were torn. "Help me, please," she said to me. But before I could ask her what's going on, the tall man with the leather jacket appeared again. He was definitely the one that I seen on Monday driving away in his limousine.
"Are you okay, Mary?"
He asked her in an unfamiliar, friendly way. Her face was now completely frozen, and she didn't say anything. The man then took her hand and disappeared with her into the conference room. When I heard the door lock, I knew that I have to know what's going on. Thursday, 15th of February. I couldn't sleep the whole night. I also was not able to work the whole day because of excitement. When work was over, I decided to hide in the cleaning room. After the lights went down, I dared to come out of my hideaway. When I reached the 3rd floor, I noticed that the conference room was actually open. I watched 3 men leaving the room, accompanied by some beautiful but also very desperate-looking young girls. They again entered a limousine and drove away. I went to the door of the conference room and saw something that was made more disturbing than any horror thriller I've ever seen. There were girls from all over the world, hoarded like animals. They had shadows and looked at me like they just seen an alien. girls. They were on their side. They pled for help. They were told a lot of wrong promises, but got them eventually in the clutches of sex traffickers. I promised to help them. When I heard steps on the floor, I closed the door and drove away. When I got back home, I designed a plan for the next day evening. Friday, 16th of February. At the end of this day, I watched the man who came out of the room. After that one guy, who had kind of the same size like me, left the room, I followed him. When he arrived at the foyer, I asked him to help me with my printer. Once we were out of sight, I knocked him out and dragged him into the cleaning room. Then I put on his clothes and his sunglasses. My heart was beating more than ever before when I arrived at the door of the conference room. Another man in a leather jacket stood there and asked me what to do next. It was obvious that I just knocked out their boss and they were mistaking me for him. This was not a part of the plan, but it was definitely a fortunate turn of events. I said that I have to take the girls with me because the customer ordered them all together. The man looked astonished, but despite, he approved. Inside the room, I put off the sunglasses for a short time so the girls would recognize me. I asked them to walk out of the room into the limousine. When we all walked in the direction of the limousine, we were accompanied by a lot of scary-looking men who also thought that I was her boss. As soon as all the girls took a seat in the limousine, I knocked out the driver and opened the throttle. At this point, I was leaked out. The other men started to chase me in their cars. It was not easy to get away fast and effectively with a stretch limousine, but on that evening, the destiny was on our side. After a long chase, a big lumber truck was about to cross the crossing. Knowing the length of the limousine, I opened up the throttle to the limit and was able to get away while our pursuers straightly crashed into the truck. In the next village, we stopped in front of the police station. We left the limousine and were about to enter the station. But suddenly, I could feel something strange on my head. It was the boss of the gang, the one who I knocked out, pointing with a pistol on my temple. Fortunately, a few girls already let the cops know what's going on in front of the building. They put up their pistols and asked the boss to let me go, but not this time. Suddenly, I could hear a very loud bang. Someday, in a place without time and space. The first thing I remember is that I woke up and an elderly woman who was clothed all in white told me that all the girls were now insecure thanks to my sacrifice. Then I got up and looked around, finding myself surrounded by a beautiful and warm white light.